So if you want to drop some pounds and live a healthier lifestyle, it is crucial to know what good food is and what foods we must avoid. Chances are you have seen comments from people saying that dark chocolate is good for health and also helps weight loss. But is that so? That's what we're going to find out right now. My name is Seiichi Arata and this is our natugood channel. Maybe you already know our Arata Academy channel, and the difference is while in Arata Academy we'll be talking about personal and professional growth in general, natugood channel deals specifically with good health and fitness. Let's talk about chocolate then. These days everyone knows that milk chocolate is not the best thing in this world that we can have if we want to drop a few pounds, because it has a lot of sugar. Oh, and white chocolates can be even worse because it can be even sweeter. But what about dark chocolate? Well, I'm going to give you here 3 tips. Tip number 1, caloric density. You probably already know this. Even though it has a small amount of sugar, dark chocolate has a lot of calories in a small piece. So, in a straightforward manner, we're going to see that because of its calories, dark chocolate isn't something that we should want if we wish to lose weight. But things are never that simple. In case you are a person who has already decided that you want 2 little pieces of chocolate, well, instead of milk chocolate, maybe it would be worth to do so with dark chocolate instead. Then here comes tip number 2. What kind of dark chocolate? Because there are several types of it, and maybe you know there are names such as bitter chocolate and the other ones are half bitter chocolate. What I recommend is that you look closely to the package to know the percentage of cocoa. In this video, we're gonna tell you, just to make it easier, that real dark chocolate is the one that has 70 or more % of cocoa. And less than that would be half bitter chocolate, and that is quite close to milk chocolate. Chocolate with 70 or more % of cocoa is a product that has more fiber. It is rich in iron, magnesium, copper and manganese, and not to mention as well those super ingredients that we're going to talk about very soon. And it also has a lower sugar content overall. To keep this video short, we're not going to go into details, but we want lower sugar content so we don't spike up our blood glucose. And no, we're not here talking yet about diet chocolates or chocolates with sweetness, because that would be a whole another story. If you search for some special brands, you're gonna find out chocolates with percentage of cocoa around 90% or even 99%. That is a unique taste. It takes a little bit to get used to it, but once you learn to appreciate it, the experience is far superior to the one where you just eat that chocolate that is full of sugar. And tip number 3, check the ingredients. Good chocolate only has natural fat of cocoa itself, which is mainly comprised of saturated and monounsaturated fats, and that's good. When chocolate has any other fat that was added to it, or thickeners, stabilizers, or any other additive, that's not good usually. So most people just need to check 3 things. Number 1, the number of calories. Number 2, the percentage of cocoa. And number 3, the ingredient list. With these 3 simple tips, you can then have a conscious choice. But for those of you guys who want to go a little bit deeper, stay here. There are tons of research on chocolate, some of them with great scientific accuracy and others whose quality is not so reliable. But in those studies, there are several discoveries found about the flavonoids found in cocoa. And we could even say things such as chocolate has theobromine. This is God's food. That is right. The word theobromine comes from the Greek, theos meaning God and bromine meaning food. Theobromine dilates the blood vessels. It improves blood circulation in the brain, the process by improving memory as well, increasing cognitive function, while also lowering the pressure and the risk of cardiac arrest. Chocolates have several powerful antioxidants: phenolic antioxidants, catechin, epicatechin, procyanidin. Chocolate can help weight loss by increasing insulin sensitivity. Well, that's all cool, right? But calm down a little bit. All this is what you're probably going to read in superficial sources You know, those places that they want some sensationalist headline, and those are pretty much exaggerated comments, distorted views of the scientific research. And this is why Natugoods here, we have the intent to give smart people, like you people, to give these special extra details going a little bit beyond what the general media has to say to the general public. So even though clinical studies are quite optimistic, it is a bit hasty to say that a person who eats chocolate will get all those nice benefits, because these studies generally are conducted towards cocoa's flavonoids. And during the processing of cocoa, we have two main systems. There is the natural system, and also there is the one using alkali salts, also known as the Dutch method. In the Dutch method, using alkali, the bitterness of chocolate is reduced through alkalinization, and that unfortunately reduces more than half of the epicatechin and catechin. And as far as I know, usually chocolate producers don't make very clear for us consumers to understand if in the ingredient list the cocoa that they used was processed either by using the natural method or the one with alkalis. There's another comment that we should take into account. There is a toxin, phytic acid, also known as phytate. I'll record more videos talking about this, but for now what you need to know is that human beings are not prepared to digest food with phytate. And unfortunately, cocoa seeds have a great amount of phytic acid, which affects our ability to absorb all those nice nutrients. Cocoa's processing has a whole fermentation process that also reduces this content. So on the one hand, cocoa that is used to make chocolate has many beneficial elements to us, but during the processing, particularly in the Dutch method, a good slice of those benefits is lost. And we cannot always absorb what goes through our mouth thanks to phytic acid. So did I turn your thoughts into a complete mess? I hope so, because the moment that we stop to think about the stuff around us, that is the moment when we are actually learning something useful. So don't worry, because Natugood will soon bring up some of the topics which we talked very briefly today. For today's video, the final message is comprised on these 3 essential tips. Number 1, chocolate does not help weight loss. Now, if it is quality chocolate, and if it is consumed in a moderate amount, well, it can be a good option in case you already decided you will eat some candy. And what would be this quality chocolate? That's tip number 2. It is worth to check the percentage of cocoa, at least 70%. And tip number 3, check the ingredient list in order to see if they have added a lot of weird stuff that you don't need. Basically, chocolate has 3 basic ingredients: cocoa mass, sugar, and cocoa butter, and that's it, nothing else. So be careful. Often they add also things such as vanilla extract, which is okay, but you should also keep in mind that if they're putting soy lecithin, emulsifiers, and all types of strange stuff in your chocolate, that would be something that we can discuss a little bit later, but keep in mind that that's stuff that you don't really need. I invite you to visit natugood.com. You can sign up with your email and I'll give you more news later.